Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Eat with Marilyn. I know I do a lot of cooking, but anyway, I do some eating too. But today we're gonna make some neck bones. Okay, and very easy recipe. First I'm going to season it and put some pepper on it. And I just put pepper on it, but if you want a measurement, you can put, you see how many neck bones I have. And if you want to put like a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, when you put that half a teaspoon, just see if you want more. And then I have some pure kosher salt that I'm going to put in. And I would say a tablespoon. And halfway through I'm going to kind of taste it a little bit and see if I need more salt. Now I'm going to fix string beans with this, and I just left one out for seasoning. And then I'm going to put some garlic powder on it, and also some onion powder, although we're going to add some onion. And just kind of work those seasonings. That's what I do. I just take my hands and just work those seasonings in there. And we may need some more seasoning, but you can always add some seasoning. But if you put too much salt, you have to start all over, rinse it and whatever, you know. So hands up. And what I did is I fixed a little sauce about a week ago, some beloved sauce, and I had some chicken stock, and you can use stock, you can use broth. So I'm going to pour the rest of that, and it's some frozen. Just put that in there. It's gonna cook down. Next, what I did is I cut up some bell pepper. A lot of people don't use bell pepper, but I do. I cut up some bell pepper and some onion, and I kind of cubed it. You can cut it the way you want, lengthwise. Or you can cube it. And guys, I'm going to put potatoes in there, but I'm going to let it cook for a couple of hours because I don't want my potatoes, and I'm going to use red potatoes. I don't want my potatoes to be just like mush, fall apart. And so I'm going to let this cook for a couple of hours, and then I'm just going to cut up some potatoes, and I'm going to cut the potatoes. They're like this size. So what I'm going to do is cut this in fours, quarter them, and then just lay them on top. Lay it on top of the neck bones. And what I do is after the 2 hours before I put the potatoes in, I'm going to just take the broth and, you know, I'm going to stir it around, and then when the potatoes are almost done, like another, you know, when I cook them down some more, what I'm going to do is just spoon some of the broth and just spread it on the potatoes. But I'll show you all that in case you missed it. So I'm going to cook it for 6 hours, and usually your slow cooker will have 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. That I'm gonna cook this for 6 hours and show you halfway through what it looks like. Okay guys, before I start that, I don't think I have enough broth, and I'm gonna make a little bit of gravy and pour it in there, just so the sauce will, the juices will thicken up and have that good flavor. But guys, I have some more. I use these ice trays, and not really for ice. I don't use it for ice. I buy ice, but I use these ice trays for my leftover chicken broth. And what I do, they come out in cubes, and I'm gonna drop a few more cubes. Oops, they don't come out that easy, do they? I'm gonna drop a few more cubes in there, and that way you can keep your chicken broth. You won't waste money. You won't have it in the refrigerator. So, well, I'm not gonna need any chicken broth to a while, so just put it in an ice cube, and they supposed to come out easier than this. But anyway, you get my drift. Okay, I'll put that in. I can always put more in. But anyway, I just wanted to show you one of my quick tricks and tips that I use. Okay guys, I'm going to make a little bit of gravy and put it in the slow cooker with the neck bones. So I have like not quite a couple of, well, like a couple of tablespoons, and I kind of use this spoon, and I didn't measure evenly, so that's what I came up with. And I don't want it too thick, so that's why I'm not using a whole lot of flour. And I'm just going to put a little bit of salt, a dash of salt. Also a dash of garlic powder, because I use those seasonings already for the neck bones. And I use chicken stock, or you can use broth. Next, I'm going to use a dash of onion salt. Powder. Not salt, powder. And I'm going to use a dash of pepper. And just kind of mix it up a little bit. And basically, I'm going to brown that. Okay, so it's getting to the brown that I want it to be. And you want to do this soon after you put on your neck bones, so it won't have that floury taste. It will take on the taste of the liquid that's in the neck bone. So I think I want, okay, that's a good brown. So I took about 5 of these out of the slow cooker, and now I'm going to pour it. Be careful because it's hot and bubbly. I'm going to pour it into the flour that I'm going to put a little bit. Now you don't have to do this. I do it for a little bit more flavoring. When I make bacon, and it's not often, but when I do make bacon, I save the grease. So I'm going to put like a half a well, maybe a teaspoon, not a heaping teaspoon, just a teaspoon of that bacon fat. I'm going to turn the heat down really low. Make sure that you get, that's a piece of onion. I can leave that in. And I'm just going to blend it until the bacon grease kind of incorporates into the gravy. And that's the perfect color that I wanted. I'll turn the heat off. And guys, this is how it should look. And I'm just going to pour this into the slow cooker. And the salt, well, it will have a gravy consistency, maybe a little lighter than that, but we don't want it heavy, and we don't want the consistency heavy. So I'm just going to pour this into the slow cooker. And guys, I'm holding the tripod instead of adjusting it. This is how it's going to look. Now I just put the potatoes in there whole. I decided to leave them in whole so they would be intact, and after 6 hours you know, they're gonna be done, and I won't have to worry about them just falling apart too much. But that's how they look so far, and I've stirred it a little bit. So we'll let them cook some more. Okay guys, this cooked for 6 hours, and it may look like some are missing and some are. I was so hungry. I mean, I just couldn't wait. So I had my dinner and I ate these neck bones, and then I said, ooh, I didn't even show everyone the finished project. And as you can see, I put the whole red potatoes in, and the consistency of them is just, you know, perfect, just perfect. And then there's plenty of juice for the potatoes. Oops. There's plenty of juice for the potatoes, and I put the onions and the bell pepper, guys. But I just wanted you to see how it turned out. Okay, it's fogging up because it's too close to the heat. But there you go. There you go. I mean, guys, they turned out perfect. The seasoning is on point. I like them with hot sauce. And then I made some cornbread. And guys, I'm like hit and miss with cornbread, but I made the best cornbread in my little cast iron skillet. Let me just show you. Okay, the cornbread is just, I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful cornbread. And the taste was pouring on. And guys, I usually don't measure. So, okay, this looks right, that looks right. This is a teaspoon, you know, this is a tablespoon. You know, put egg, put my oil in, put it in the oven for about 5 minutes to heat the oil. Pour a little oil in the cornbread mix, and I don't use mix. I made this from scratch. Stir it up, put it back in the skillet, put it in the oven 400 degrees, and just, you know, until it browns like this. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me, and I am going to have me probably a second helping later on. So Like I said before, if I invite anyone who has not subscribed to my channel, please do so now and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you next time, and have a good evening. Good night.